Please be good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy and is the 15th or 16th movie in the MCU. I could be wrong there, but there are a lot of movies in the MCU now, and this movie is the latest addition to that. The movie stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Kurt Russell, Michael Rooker, Karen Gillian, and Sean Gunn. And without giving too much away, because the trailer really doesn't reveal that much about the actual plot for this film, the Guardians are basically forced into saving the entire universe yet again, whilst also having an alien race hunting them down to try and kill them because Rocket decided to steal something from them. And that's all I can really say about the plot of this movie without giving anything away for you guys. But unlike what the trailer showed us, because the trailer showed us Kurt Russell as Star-Lord's father, which I wasn't a huge fan of because I thought it was going to be a small part of the film. But that plot point is basically the main focus of this entire film. And as good as the first movie is, I absolutely loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. There was basically nothing wrong with it in my opinion. I had a great time with it. I was very excited to see this film. It had a lot to live up to, and in that, it's a good film. It's not a terrible film, it's a good film. I had a really good time in this movie, but it is not as good as the first movie. There are a lot of issues in this film that are a lot more noticeable than the previous. I'll talk about the positives first. As usual, the entire cast in this movie all do a fantastic job. Chris Pratt is amazing again as Star-Lord. Zoe Saldana again as Gamora also does a really good job. The dynamic between those two is fleshed out a lot more in this film as well. As is the dynamic between Gamora and Nebula, played by Karen Gillian in this film. Is it Gillian or Gillian? I actually don't know how to pronounce her last name. The movie focused a lot more on that, which in a way was really good because we got to find out more about Thanos. We got to hear how much more of a bastard he really is and how horrible he can be to people that he considers his daughters. And the reason why these two are odd to each other throughout the first film and for a majority of this film is completely understandable, and it does make sense, and I really like that. Although there were moments just like the first movie where Karen Gillian was overacting at certain points, but for the most part I really like her in this movie. She gives a good performance. We also have Bradley Cooper return to voice Rocket, who was one of my favourite parts of the first film. And although he continues to have that cocky, arrogant side to him in this movie, what they did really nicely here is they fleshed out why he was such an asshole with the people he considers to be his family. Vin Diesel also returns to voice Baby Groot. Baby Groot, by the way, is one of the cutest things ever, and I want one. I really just want a Baby Groot just of my own to sit on my shoulder for every review I do in the future. But again, he was good despite the fact he's just saying I am Groot throughout the entire film. Dave Bautista is back as Drax, who I actually quite enjoyed in the first film, but I did enjoy him a lot more in this film. However, I feel like the comedy moments with his character were forced quite a few times, and they did stretch out a lot longer than they probably should have. But a lot of times the comedy behind his character did work for me, and for me personally, he did generate a lot of the laughs for me in this film. Kurt Russell I also thought was a great addition to the cast. You can see he's really having fun with this role, and the father-son dynamic between him and Chris Pratt was great. They had good back and forth with each other, and because of that I do feel like he made a fine addition to the cast. But my favourite character in this movie, without a doubt, just like the first movie, was Michael Rooker as Yondu. Michael Rooker was great in this movie. They fleshed his character out a lot more than they did in the previous film, and he has a lot more badass scenes in this movie. He has a lot more things to do. Another thing I also really enjoyed about this film is it has a strong and powerful message about family, especially about father and son. About the fact that although someone may be your blood relative, they may not necessarily be considered family to you because they haven't been around for all your life. Unlike certain other people who have and have brought you up and looked after you. And I feel like the movie did an incredible job of incorporating that message into the entire film. And again, despite the fact that this movie is very well acted, well directed, the score for this movie was also really good. I actually prefer the soundtrack to this film over the first one. I don't know if that is the same for anyone else out there. There were more songs in this movie that I enjoyed than there was the first one, but in that this movie I feel like the entire plot is very choppy. For example, there are these gold alien things that just keep appearing every now and then just to have some action scenes happen, and although the reason why they're there is understandable, but I feel like they didn't always necessarily need to be there. Granted, in a post-credit scene it looks like they're going to be the big bads of the next Guardians of the Galaxy film, which by the way, talking about the post-credit scenes, there are 4 in this movie. 4. That's pretty impressive. I loved all of them. But again, the characters in this film didn't always fully make sense to me as to why they were there at certain points. I feel like this movie should have only focused on the father-son dynamic that Chris Pratt would have with Kurt Russell, rather than having all this other stuff happen in between, because I just got lost every now and then when it came up. Also, I feel like the humour in this movie was a lot more forced than it was the first movie. Like in the first one, the humour was well blended into the actual story. The characters each had moments where they'd have a funny line and it all landed, it all worked. But in this movie, there are definitely times where the jokes just don't hit as much as they're supposed to. And there are a few jokes that go on for a little bit too long. I mean, there was one joke that went on that kept coming up, that when it was repeated again at a certain point, I stepped out of the movie a little bit and just thought to myself, Is this joke really still going on? I mean, it's been going on for the past 5-10 minutes. But although those parts did take me out of the film, overall I had a great time in this film. I found it very entertaining. The action sequences were amazing. There is some great humour in there. Although some of it doesn't always land, there is a lot of it that does, and you do get a good belly laugh every now and then. The movie did a good job of developing characters a lot more than they had in the first film. And although not as good as the first, if you are a Marvel fan or even a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, I feel like you can enjoy this film just like I did, because I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 4 stars. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, have you guys seen it yet? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks as always for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, then subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.